Hello and welcome back to the next part of this tutorial. This is Hippoz here. If you do not want to see the progression of this material and just want to see the final result and how what to do, just skip to the summary video and you will be able to I will just go through each thing there and explain it. Hey there, what are you? Oh, that was weird. I did go ahead and just kind of adjust the lighting on here a little bit. You can see the shadows are no longer solid black. I added a hair of depth of field and I added a little bit of height to fog to it just to kind of make it look a little bit better. It is a little bright, but I do want to be able to see everything quite clearly. So I've also added a little bit of light shafting, not too much, kind of hard to get a good angle on that, and lens flares and shit like that. So, alright, so in this one, we want to now create the dirt. And I'm thinking that I'll use the grass material function because I don't think I need to blend the dirt with a multiply. I think I want to do a complete replace, so let's hit F2 here. Dirt. Okay, let me kill the cliff layer, the grass layer, and the material instance for now. I'll keep this one up and let's go ahead and pop this guy open. I'll just move it over here so I have easy access to swapping out the textures. Okay, so I have dirt D here. Let's make this larger. Okay, here and here. And then we'll get the normal map, and here, and here, and that should be about all we need to do to the function. Okay, which is quite handy. Again, if a particular layer needs to be more or less have more or less going on in it, in this case I want that roughness to be 1 there. You can do all of that here. So remember, this is the full material for what you're creating. So pretty handy, I think, to work this way. I do want to point out that this is not mobile friendly. There's too much going on. If you're doing a mobile game, I would suggest just doing the more traditional landscape texturing method. I believe you can mask things and all that stuff. I would just I think we probably have too many functions inside of functions. In fact, we're only nested 1 level deep, so I don't know if it's really all that bad. Let me just save that dirt layer. I don't actually need to save the grass layer, so we'll save that. Okay, now in our main material here, I do believe I like this method, but you can come up with any method that you want. In fact, if you really want, you could just use the slope mask. I think that looks like crap. I don't think it's complex enough, but you can do whatever you want. So this is our cliff slope here. So we're going to do that over dirt. First. You could actually make this into a function, in fact including this as well, if you wanted to. You could say, you know, hey, for the high power or whatnot, but I opt to just keep it like this. I find it's fine. And again, you can do as many layers of this as you wanted to. It probably get kind of confusing, but you can do that. So alright, so now this is going to be wiped out and we are actually going to pull this guy in. So let's just pull this over here really quick and we'll drag this one in here. Okay, so we need to rename some of these things because we want to make sure that we're under different controls. Dirt small size. Dort blend distance. It's a little laggy because it's constantly wanting to update the preview every time I change one of these names, which I kind of wish that there was like a, you know, update preview or something here so you could work lag free, but I don't want to be a whiner. Okay, yeah, it's lagging to the point where it's not even picking up the node. So I gotta kind of hold and wait. Patience is not exactly one of my virtues. So that height map needs to go here. And again, if you see my mouse jumping all over the place, it's actually doing that for me too. While it builds these previews and stuff like that, it really gets to be kind of harsh. Okay. Yeah, I can't even like move the screen while this is gray. I'm not in a good place in terms of okay. So what we're actually going to do is swap this one to be over the dirt result. Okay, and you'll see that that's going to change to dirt. Okay, you see there's the dirt there. I'll rename these two. I want to try to stay organized as I work, because otherwise I could start really throwing myself for a loop in terms of the confusion factor, especially if I were to have tons and tons of layers. Okay, so I'm going to move this over to here, and what I want to do is pretty much, so that blends over that. Now what I want to do is I want to have another blend, and the base material on this is going to be that entire blend. Top material will be my grass. Okay, and I want to pipe that to my attributes. And I believe that the mask is going to be this one. So cliff is on top of dirt, which is on top of grass. Or wait. Do I want to do the grass? Do I want to do the dirt on top of the grass, or do I want to do the grass on top of the dirt? I think I wanted to do the grass on top of the dirt, right? So I think I need to swap this around, which sucks because I got to rename everything to grass slope angle and all that stuff. Okay. Well, I can just move these. I will pause it before I do this. Yeah, I forgot. I need to goddamn save. So this height map needs to go here. And this result needs to go as the base material here. Okay, now I'm going to rename all of this stuff to grass, and I'll be right back. Okay, I think I'm set. So the result of this is the first blend, so it's still rock over grass. But now we are doing that whole material over dirt based on the grass's slope blend. Okay, so I'll apply that and I'll wait for that. Okay, I actually screwed up because, as you can see, the dirt's on top where the rock should be. Okay, it's like working properly, it's just opposite. So I believe it's because I need the base material to be the dirt and the top material to be this one. Makes more sense, right? This dirt should be underneath everything. So yeah, I screwed that up, so let's go ahead and apply that. Okay, I think that's a little better. You can see some of the grass poking through there, but it looks overall to be mostly dirt. So let's hope that the theory's good. So I don't look like a total fucking jackass on camera. It's always a bonus. So let's kick this up just a little bit so I can see what's going on. And what I want to do is I need this one too. Okay, sorry my dog barked. Try to keep that off camera as much as possible. Okay. I feel like I might be a little flipped up here still, right? That still feels opposite, like that should be dirt and that should be grass. So the top should be grass. Let's play with it just for a second and then I'll go and fix that. Let's see, grass, height, power, let's say 1 or 8. Grass height contrast. Grass blend distance, I don't care about that. I can still play with the cliff slope fall off. I kind of like that 5 right there though. And the grass slope fall off. Whoa, that was weird. It like zoomed my camera instead of. Yeah, I'm not sure the grass. Let's see if I mess with the cliff slope fall off. Yeah, I think I have them flipped. I believe that I have the grass and the dirt flipped. Let me take a look at that real quick. Let's put this out of the way. See, I thought that rock would go over grass and grass would go over dirt, right? That result goes to the base material, and the top material, that whole top material should be based off of this guy's alpha. I don't know, here it looks like I should be correct, like grass should be the grass rock blend should be the top material, but I'm getting dirt over grass. Oh, I think, I'm not entirely sure that I don't want to have the 1 over the 1 minus here. But no, that's going to flip the whole thing, right? So it's going to put grass on the cliff, if I'm not mistaken. We'll just see real quick. It puts grass on top. Let me apply that and see if that was the problem. No, that is actually incorrect. It puts the dirt on this side there. Okay, so let me figure out what the piss I did wrong. I did something wrong. I'm wondering if this should go over dirt and the grass on top as the grass being the top layer. I don't know why this is doing it differently for me. I know I definitely need the 1 minus back. That's definitely correct. But I think what I can probably do is just swap the grass and dirt. But I don't know, it just seems like the base layer being grass, that doesn't make any sense. I guess it... No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. The alpha top material is this. And the base material is the dirt. Let's preview this. See how you can see it cuts out where the grass is? But yeah, why in Scheißerhound is this... so this will put... the top material will be alpha channeled. The base material will be here, so that's dirt on the flat. I do have it backwards. The grass does need to be in the black, right? The grass needs to be my topmost layer. Yeah. So I think the quickest way to fix that would be to just go ahead and swap the materials here like this. God damn it, I hate it when that happens. I actually kind of wish that letting go didn't automatically pull up the thing, that you actually had to hold it and then right click while you were holding it. Alright, let's preview this guy here. Can I preview that? Apparently not. Stop previewing that. Okay, so I just confused myself. My own damn self. That's fine. I think. Hopefully, I'll just wait for the preview here and make sure I see grass to dirt to rock. And I believe that that's what I'm seeing now. Okay. Grass to dirt to rock. And as you can see, the dirt is in between the blades of the grass because of the grass's height map. So I think that's good, so I'm going to apply and pause and we'll see. Okay, I am pretty much an asshole. I'm still backwards. Now that I think about it, I'm fundamentally doing the whole thing backwards. So basically, again, I need to now swap the dirt and the cliff. I forgot that I'm actually blending the top, like the tops, the flats, over the walls. So very simple to fix this, by the way. Like I said, you can just swap these. And the one that goes up here is from this guy. So this one needs to go to the cliff. Okay, let go. Let fucking, okay, there we go. And this one, I believe, needs to go to the dirt. So I just swap those. And let's get this out of the way. It gets real laggy during this phase. I don't know. Maybe I did that backwards again. Base material being a cliff. Do I have that backwards? Let me see. If not, I just gotta swap the A and the B. I might have frickin' swapped them and then swapped them right back like a dumbass. Okay, I did just put it back to what it was, like a dick. But that's because I just wasn't paying enough attention. Base is now going to rock. Base needs to go to dirt. Top needs to go to rock. Let's remember that. Top needs to go to rock. Okay, where are you? Top needs to go to rock. Okay, there we go. That should work. Right? Okay, I think we're finally onto something. Hopefully. I didn't totally cluster myself. There's a good chance I probably want to go in and rename some stuff, but we'll see. Alright, let's see. Do we now have the control that we would like? So the grass, here we go. See, now we got grass to dirt. Okay. So the cliff height contrast, let's play with that. Don't know that's going to do too much yet. Cliff slope fall off. Okay, that knocks the cliff out pretty much almost entirely. Okay, so I can play with that. The grass fall off. Grass slope fall off might be a little high or a little bit low. See, there's dirt there. You see the grass blends in. The grass height power. It's getting a little ugly, but it's a very, very ugly texture. Trust me, there's a lot to do with it. Grass height contrast. Let's see what that does for us. Okay, remember the lower the value here because it's that division. Okay, as you can see, it kind of cuts in. Again, a much better grass texture would in fact fix this. Let's see, grass slope fall off contrast, height power, grass height contrast, grass slope contrast. Let's lower that. Actually, let's make that. I think I want to lower this down to maybe 0.05. Depends on how close you want the rock and the grass to be. See, I can pull the dirt down the rock by using the cliff's contrast, right? That gets rid of it. Cliff height contrast doesn't seem to be doing too much until I go a little bit higher, and then I can blend the dirt out. Okay. Cliff blend distance, that's completely separate. I really need to organize these into better categories, and I'll do that before we're finished. Still kind of producing it. Cliff slope fall off. Kind of like something a little bit like that. It dirties up the rocks. Kind of interesting. That pulls that way closer, like there, but I could also you can play with these settings here too. So for like the grass slope angle, I think if I go lower, I pull the grass down. Okay, the grass slope, the grass height power, I hate that. I really need to fix that height map for the grass. It's terrible. It's just hideous. You can see. Actually, one of the things I need to do too for that is on the grass material function here, I need to lerp this here. Okay, so what I need is I need to mask that alpha channel so I get that, because I'm not blending the grass. Okay, so now I can lerp that over that based on my distance blend. And I'll put that instead so that the grass gets, so that that cutout gets smaller as it comes in. Now this is going to take a little while. My compile times are roughly like 1.5 to 2 minutes because of how much is going through the pipeline here. You can see when I come here, it's saying it needs to, this is how many shaders it's got to compile. It's quite a few. That's why I'm saying that this is not mobile friendly. And you could simplify it if you wanted to. You could not use a distance blend. You could not use a world aligned texture, and cut some of those features out if you want to. That's entirely up to you. It's totally tunable in any way you want for performance and for. You could also use lower res textures, higher res textures. You could put more blends in. You could go even crazier depending on how nuts you feel. But in my case, I'm trying to keep it relatively conservative. 3-layer blend, each one having the distance blend in it. And then hopefully I can get I kind of feel like I've screwed up the controls, like I've thrown them all ass backwards, but I'll, after I end this part, I'll kind of go back and review just to double check and see if I've made any obvious mistakes. That the pressure of being on camera is causing me to miss, right? I really need to kind of dive in and look at it. Whatever I change, I'll obviously make sure to note that. It could just be a simple matter of, hey, I've got the parameters named wrong, so everything that's controlling grass really is controlling dirt, So now the grass should blend based on its own small size, and then as you get farther away, you can see it blends on the larger size there. Which kind of weird. I feel a little weird about that, but in this case I think it's better. And again, if you look at the grass height map that I've got, it's total crap, so that is kind of a hurdle dealing with a shitty texture. If you've got a good textures, you're going to be I believe much happier. So and again, yeah, that height map is just terrible. Alright, let's bring this back and see if we can't tune it up a little bit more for the next couple of minutes here. Again, like I said, it is kind of a iffy, tricky balance, and there's a lot of stuff kind of going back and forth. If I increase this, I got to decrease that, and if I do this and that. So grass slope contrast. So that pulls the grass down onto the much more flat areas, which I think I believe that is what I want. The grass slope contrast, yeah, I think I want to pull that down. The grass height power, I think I want to lower that, so that this is a little bit less sharp and shitty looking. I mean, it is anyway. But the good news is that on the flats, the grass is just the grass, right? In between it, you do see a little bit of the rock in there, but that's okay. It's actually kind of desirable in a sense. All right, now the cliff slope. I really believe I need to rename cliff slope to be the dirt stuff. So fall off 1, 4, cliff angle here. What is this guy? This is 1, 2. So let's. I think I need to lower that to like 0.75 or 0.8, and then tune it back in. Grass slope fall off probably way too high. Yeah, it is. You can see there's just a little bit of grass peeking through here, but it's over. It's weird though, because the grass is over rock, and I kind of was hoping that would be over dirt. But you can't just hope these things work. Okay, so what about 1 on the contrast? That doesn't do any good. If I kick the height power back up, okay, yeah, I need that height power back up. And so cliff height contrast should be pretty low. Okay. Yeah, something like that. And then the cliff contrast should be a little bit higher, and then the fall off I'm thinking smaller or larger. Yeah, it needs to be larger. Okay, now I need to pull the grass back by going lower. I really don't want to use the grass height map, but I could actually fix that. Grass height power 0, 64. I think that's a little bit better. So it is going from grass to dirt to rock, as you can see here, but I've got it pretty sharp now. But I think, let's see which direction does that pulls it back. Something like that. So there's dirt over rock, grass on the mainly flat parts, a little bit of blending in between, like that. So it's not too horrible. I think I want to pull back some of the dirt. So one of the main controls here is kind of for that. So that pulls the dirt back. The dirt is cutting into the details of the rock, but I think I have the rock height power pretty low. Cliff height contrast, or cliff height power, where is that? Is that pulled out? Grass height power, cliff height power. Where is my cliff height power? What am I using for an exponent here? Oh. Grass height power. Yeah, I accidentally grabbed that and renamed it. Oopsie! So I need that control back, because that's actually, they're sharing the same value. That's not good. So grass layer, dirt layer. The dirt is the base material, but I had to go to dirt first. I think that's correct now. Is there any other stupid mistakes I made? I don't think so. Okay, now I have cliff height power, which is really high. Which means I gotta pull the grass back in when I edit that. Grass slope fall off. Pull that back. It's falling off way too hard. Grass height contrast. Need to kick that up. And then kick up the slope contrast to get that grass back. Okay, it is still blending, but I think I need that height power. It feels a little strong. Let's get the cliff height power up a little bit. Cliff height contrast will be okay, that's very overly smooth. That's better. Something a little bit like that. Okay, and then we fiddle with the grass height power. I just hate that. I really would much rather use something completely different than the grass's height. Because I can show you, the texture is just fucking dog shit. Great, I mean, that's why it looks like garbage. I probably use the green channel, no? I think I'll try that instead. Shit. I'm gonna edit this to actually mask the green channel instead. Because you can't like mask like an entire material component, right? It's like, what is it masking? You know, the base color or what? So I do it here, determine which mask I want to use, which I actually like. I mean, I like being able to say, hey, I want to edit the grass, what the grass is doing. Let me go to the grass function, right? I appreciate that. So it's got to compile the shaders again. Okay, so with that compiled, let's pull that grass height power down. It feels a little better. Grass slope contrast. That pulls it up a little bit too high. Say 2, 1.5, 1.2, 1, 1.1, 1.15. See how we can pull it back. Very subtle in that regard. So we'll go with 1.05. And don't forget, as usual, as per usual, we are cut, saving. We're still fully dynamic here. Okay, if I want grass right on the top of there, I can just I flatten that out. Okay, here's grass to dirt to cliff. Trust me, I know that I really don't feel like my controls are solid yet. I feel like I'm fighting the controls a little bit. I feel like the dirt's pretty good. That's cutting in and out of the rock where I need it to, but the grass, I may need the grass to use instead of its own height, which is very fine, and I mean, I don't really hate that though. I may need to, like I said, push it to maybe use the rocks fall off, or like I said, just a simple splatter mask, like a noise mask, you know, as opposed to this. But this isn't too bad because it transitions from seeing through the grass to solid grass pretty much right here. You can see through it a little bit where the height's not great. Again, a better height map here would fix a lot of this, and then it goes to the blend out there, depending on whether or not you like that. And as I get farther away, you can see that transitions happening on the larger grass height map, which in this case I think is actually okay. But I mean, it's not a totally boring terrain, and you can see that it has nothing. Nothing's painted on here. It's all dynamic. And again, if I want, I do have, cliff will be solid cliff, right? Any cliff surface, and I have control over what that angle is. I would like to kind of play with it just for a little bit more. I'm probably going to end up playing with it quite a bit off camera. I'm also going to take a look at the overall structure of the material just to make sure that I'm not doing anything stupid and completely wrong. But I feel like there's something in there that I'm doing that's completely wrong, but I just feel that way. I can't really confirm or deny that yet. I think I probably want to get rid of a little bit more dirt off of the surface here. So again, I kind of have a master control for that, and I just can't, I never remember which way I gotta go here. 1.25, that feels a little bit better. Get dirt right on that top surface there. Yeah, that's a little bit more Cliffy, right? Cliffy the giant red dog. I think that's not too shabby. Looking at it from a distance, you can see how all the blends are happening. Up here on the top, there's the grass. Again, all slope based. There is a height blend. I found it a little bit hard to use, but you could say, hey, everywhere that's below a certain distance, below a certain height, starts taking on these characteristics, right? It just depends on how crazy you want to get with it. So now I could pretty much put the cliff blend distance up again, so that it does start to blend to the higher value. Let's get rid of the freaking brush here. And let's check these sizes. So I've also got my dirt small and large size I can play with. So the cliff small size, let me exaggerate this so I can see where that blend is happening. Okay, that's quite close, but that does not look too shitey as I get farther away. So let's check that distance here real quick. 3,000 units Remember, this terrain's pretty huge. My character would be pretty small on here. It's kind of hard to tell that scale. You kind of need to run around in the world. But as I get farther away, that will blend out. And obviously, I would not use a 64. By the way, these don't have to be powers of 2. I mean, these can be whatever the hell you want. So as I come in, that blends to whatever size I really want. I do have that power on the dirt as well. You can see it's happening. There's the dirt. Small size, which is 256. Maybe I want that to be smaller, so it's much finer. So from a distance, you can see the large scale dirt. Let's see, the large scale dirt's only 2000. Like that, as I come in, that will fade to the smaller dirt. That blend distance probably is too close. So the dirt blend distance may be 1500 instead of 500. Feels a little bit better. Dirt may be a good candidate actually for multiplying together with the large and small versions of it. But that's one of the neat things about doing it this way, is that, like I said, each layer being in its own function has the ability to, you have controls over each layer individually, like blend distances and things like that. So as you get close, it doesn't look like shit anymore. You know, because if I don't have the blend, as I get close to this high-res stuff, it's gonna pixelate really bad. But when I get in like this, it's not really pixelated. I gotta go all the way up into the clipping plane to get it to pixelate. Even right here, it looks semi-decent. And again, you know, if you wanted relief maps and things like that. Now, the one thing I haven't figured out yet is how to do like a bump offset on a texture object, because there's no UVs to the thing. That's probably a little too fine on the dirt. As you can see, you can start seeing the tessellation of the terrain here. Not to say I can't just come in and smooth the terrain. I never can figure out what the hell these settings are actually doing. Let me shrink the brush. See, that's literally just the tessellation of the terrain, and the fact that the dirt texture probably being entirely too small. So if I come back, and I think I closed it, didn't I? I did. Dirt small size. Yeah, I don't think I really want that. It's probably still too small. Not 2565. Yeah, I'm still kind of seeing it, but really it's just, this dirt is a very, very like uneventful texture, which makes it good for tiling, but doesn't necessarily make it good for creating a whole lot of detail. You can get a much better dirt on there. Like if I kick it up like a lot, maybe powered up to normal or something, because you can see from a distance it's okay, but as I get closer, it does kind of tessellate with the terrain. But in some ways that could you know, work to your advantage or not. It's up to you, really. You don't see that anywhere on the rock happening where it's doing that. Just where the dirt is, like I said, very, very flat, uneventful texture. Very one tone, and not even very high res either. So a higher res texture would certainly help there, pretty much in all regards. But let's what is it, Alt? Shift? Let's get a bigger brush here. Yeah, we dip in. And let's say, you know, like I want like a path or something. I need to kick it up a notch. Bam. You can see the world space texture taking into effect right here. And then I would probably start with a flat in here. I tend to do this when I want to make, I know you can make ramps, but I tend to kind of just step it out, make terraces, and then come back with the smooth tool. Depending on your smooth tool size and stuff like that. Let's say I want to make a ramp up to this guy. This is just terrain, landscape fiddling 101, right? There's a ramp going up. Again, I could tell the grass to be more up the slope if I want. However I want to edit that. Now, this is pretty good for natural terrains, right? Like natural landscapes. But I wouldn't I would not necessarily recommend this method for like very specific style terrains. Like just imagine something like World of Warcraft or something like that, where they've got, even on the same flat surface, you've got variations, because that's the one thing that this doesn't allow for, right? I'm stuck with grass on the flat here. But what I can do is I can take this entire thing, if I really wanted to, I could take this whole bitch and make it a function, right? Once I'm happy with it, I make this a function, and then what I do is I blend that using a layer, landscape material layer, and then over the top of all of that shit that we're doing here, we could come in and we can paint roads and patches of crabgrass and shit like that, or use one of the masks, you know, like a flow map or a wear map or a simple noise map or something. So you can go much higher than this. You can actually go much lower than this too. You can, like I said, knock out the if it's really giving you a dumpy performance, because my performance is fine. You can see I'm, you know, 50 or so FPS, kind of bouncing between 50 and 30. A lot of almost all of that has to do with recording, but just you can take out the blend distances, you know, the distance blending. So you can take out the world aligned aspect of the texture if you wanted to. Because if you say, let's say, hey, my rock is only going to be on the very vertical surfaces, you may not need to world align that. You may just need to fix the XY tiling of your texture to be more, you know, tiled more in the Y, so that it unstretches itself, depending on how you set these angles, right? So that would be a way to optimize it, instead of, you know, like I said. But this is world aligned, so I can just place it. It's even on the flat surfaces. If rock shows up, which it kind of technically won't unless I tune it that way, it will line up okay. Same thing with the dirt, and same thing with the grass. But see, like I said, the grass is only showing up on the very flat. So me using a world aligned material on that is a slight bit of a waste, right? So if I knock that out, you know, because I know grass is only going to be on the flat surfaces, I can save a couple FPS, right? Save a little bit of process off the top. The dirt being kind of going in between the two, that's a tricky one, right? I mean, you could still get away with a top-down projection, because remember, if you don't use world aligned texture, it's a top-down projection of the texture. So the cliff would be all kinds of stretched right here. And that's an old school problem, right? That's fixed with the the XYZ blending, the world space normals. But like I said, you can tune it back that way. So you can simplify this quite easy and just use the simple slope blend. You can not bother with the blending of the height map into the material here, but I like it because it gives me this kind of extra bits of detail where the peaks of the rock, the white parts of that height map are poking through, and I do have control over how much that happens, right? I like that. Again, I really hate my grass texture, but I'm going to say it again. It's fucking blows is what it does. But yeah, and then again, like I said, you can do more layers over the top. Now that's one thing I kind of feel like I sort of failed in on this tutorial, is making sure that I was under full understanding. This blend makes perfect sense. Hopefully it makes perfect sense to you guys too, right? We got the slope mask, which basically determines the amount of masking just based on the surface angle. And then we power up, well, we give ourselves the ability to power up our height map that is the alpha channel, right, that we're outputting from the function. Okay, and then we subtract that height map from this guy, but then we divide it by this guy. Because what you got to remember is this right here is essentially, if you didn't want to use a slope mask and you wanted to paint it instead, you can do that. Just replace the slope mask with the typical painting layer blend style, the vertex color, right? I'm just doing it automatically using the slope mask, so I don't have to mess with it. Okay, and then you want to divide it by a relatively low number, but you can tune that too, so that it pushes the values, right? Because like if it's 0.9 in here and I divide that by 0.01, that becomes 90 or whatever that math is, I forget, and then that pushes that past the 1 point, and as long as you clamp everything, you're set. And I'm doing it, and then here's the other thing, you don't have to. I'm doing the 1 minus because of the direction that I'm masking, because the cliff is over the dirt. No, the dirt is over the cliff. The grass is over the dirt. So if you did it, you could get away and come out with the exact same thing without the 1 minus, but you would have to basically do everything in the opposite direction, because the white of your mask would be on the side as opposed to on the top, right? So I'm masking based on top surface. Okay, so the grass layer. Huh? Yeah, see, that was the thing that threw me off. I was assuming that the base was what was under and the top was what was on top, right? I mean, that makes sense, but I don't know. I think that's where I feel like I failed. Like I hopefully didn't confuse you guys on that. I probably did, and I feel bad. I do, because I'm half confused myself. I mean, it's working, but I feel like wait, what did I do? Like, how did I end up with this? And having to switch the layers around. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I really wasn't. But then again, this is only the second time that I've done this, and I'm using a completely brand new method that I just kind of half invented right now. Of course, I'm taking methods that have been displayed online already by various people. The slope mask, I'm sure there's tutorials on that somewhere else too. But like I said, I just want to take it into another direction. And what you could do is you could get rid of all of these controls and simply use the slope mask by itself. It's got some pretty decent stuff in here, but just remember that what you're going to end up with is pretty hard-edged stuff or soft-edged stuff. You're going to get that traditional 0 to 1 gradiated blend, and things just can kind of look fuzzy, more akin to painting with a very high fall-off brush, right? But I like this method. I personally think that it works good, because it means that now I can just go in and just start pissing out terrains all I want and just throw this material on there. All I gotta do is, if I have one that's that's not working, I just gotta make another material instance, and I have a whole new full set of controls for map number 2, right? This could be, like I said, you could name this like forest, landscape, forest virgin landscape, desert, and instead of blending rock to dirt to grass, you blend like a brown cliff to some kind of gravelly shit to sand, then to a very soft sand or something like that. So we have the ability to do it, whatever we want. honestly. I mean, I just chose these textures because they're pretty simple. I wish I had a better grass texture, but other than that, it's all working out. And I probably need a better dirt texture too, like I said, because it's so fine and so even and so uncontrasty that it's basically kind of showing everything through. I also have my editor automatically turning down things, so that if you go to settings here, you can change the scalability settings and stuff like that, monitoring the editor performance. So it tries to keep a decent frame rate, which I need because I'm recording and that takes up a lot of process. So hopefully you guys found this useful so far. Like I said, there will be one more video where I do a complete summary. Now, from this point forward, I am going to fiddle with this thing and try to get a really, hopefully, a very excellent looking result. I may even actually go in and bring in a completely new grass texture, but trust me that I'm not changing any theory whatsoever. Like the actual fundamentals of what I'm doing here, that I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to like completely flip the script and say, oh, it's something totally different, you know. I showed you this whole tutorial, but I didn't end up using any of it. No, I'm going to use it. What I'm doing here, but I may swap some of the images. I may get a better dirt texture and I may get a better grass texture. The summary is not going to come out for a day or two because I actually am freaking busy. I have to do something, and this is already taking up most of my day, so I need to stop now and move on to something else. But I do appreciate you guys watching it. I do appreciate the support. Just want to let you guys know I'm putting this way at the end of the video, so most people aren't even going to see this because they're not going to make it to the end of the video. YouTube did tell me that nobody watches my entire videos, but most people just quit out at the end, you know, like a part way through. But that's fine. This is for people that really want to know how to do the shit, need to do it step by step, or are interested in seeing somebody fiddle with it and muck up and screw up and learn from their mistakes, right? But just wanted to make an announcement about rats. Sometime in the very beginning of the next year, 2015, I will be launching rats on Kickstarter. I hope everybody helps me. I don't mean you have to give me money. You know, you don't have to back it, but please help me promote it by telling people about it. The more I get from there, the more success I get there, the more I'll be able to produce this kind of content, materials, and stuff like that. And plus, make hopefully an awesome game. But the idea is that I'm going to take rats to Kickstarter. I'm going to use what I've done in UDK, which is damn near 10 years worth of work, and I'm going to push to get it ported over to UE4. Because I'm just going to go ahead and admit it, I do not have a programmer on rats anymore. I was not doing the Unreal script, the UDK, the UT script. I never really got into it. It's not that I couldn't learn it, I just don't have time. I had to do all the art, right? So somebody else was handling that, but that person's no longer on the project, and I am actually officially alone on the project now, which is not good. But the cool thing is that if I bring it over to UE4, I do not need a programmer because I can do it all my damn self, because C++ and blueprints basically take care of all of the things I couldn't figure out in UDK, like possession and ownership and things like that. That all makes much more sense now to me. I could probably even go back and fix up the UDK version. So expect rats to show up on Kickstarter and a campaign to get it pushed over to UE4, where not only will it be able to, there will be no more hurdles in getting it completed, but there will also be a drastic improvement in the visual fidelity of the entire project. Particles, good materials, lighting, all that stuff's going to just tenfold improve because UE4 is just vastly superior to UDK in those aspects. So it will look a heap ton better. I'll be able to make the single player campaign the way I feel that I wanted it to always have been, and it won't actually take that long. I already have a plan for that, so that'll work out good. I think multiplayer will work pretty much right out of the box, but there'll be some stuff I gotta do a little bit more learning. The fact that Epic is, you know, permanently supporting UE4 and has pretty much dropped UDK is a good portion of the reason that I'm deciding to do this. I've always been excited about UE4, but they're almost kind of pushing your hand in that regard, because there's really is not really any support for UDK, so don't expect any new tools for that, you know, but you can expect new tools for UE4 coming out like on a monthly basis. You know, it's really excellent in terms of support. The Answer Hub and those guys are in their Twitch streams, and they're constantly improving. And I mean, we're even going to be able to have dynamic global illumination sometime in the future that I think works pretty good. Now, don't quote me on that, but it seems like that kind of thing might work in here, and it probably should. So yeah, so expect rats on UE4, but I do need help. I need help badly. I'm completely I'm out of resources, and like entirely. I had put aside enough to last like 3 years. I stretched it out to 7 years, and I've just got nothing left. I can't really maintain anymore. So without something like Kickstarter, I'm just gonna have to go get a job and quit games. There's like nothing else I can do in that regard. Maybe get a job in games, but even that will mean that's a job and quit rats, right? So I hope I don't have to do that. I hope everybody sees the potential in that project, because I think it's going to be fun and awesome, because it's little characters running around in a huge world, jumping around like you were playing with all your little action figures when you were a kid. So yeah, that's it, and thanks for watching. And again, look for the summary video in a day or two. I will summarize everything and get everything hopefully finalized, and be hopefully a quicker video for those that just want to skip to the actual, like, hey, how the hell is this done? So alright, that's it, and thanks for watching again, and hit pause signing off.